Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing the Ascent for the Xbox Series S. The game is also available for Microsoft Windows. The Ascent is a futuristic twin-stick shooter with role-playing elements developed by Neon Giant. The game takes place in a futuristic world where powerful corporations have seized control. You play as an enslaved worker caught in a chaotic free-for-all world where syndicates and corporations fight for ultimate power. The game can be played solo or via online or local multiplayer. So what is the game like to play? Well, you start out by creating your own unique character, but again, it's another game with a pretty disappointing system, with only a small handful of facial choices, hairstyles, but at least you can select your colour scheme. Control-wise, it's a twin-stick shooter, which means one stick for movement, one for aiming. Your character has a handy laser sight to help you aim as well, but it's not just directional combat. In the Ascent, you can shoot high or low. Low for a torso shot, high for a headshot. This can also be combined with crouching, like you can find a piece of cover, crouch behind it, and aim high to shoot at your enemies from the safety of cover. It adds a nice, interesting tactical element to what is usually a fairly basic genre and makes skirmishes a touch more interesting. Your character also has augmentations and module slots that unlock over time. Augmentations are special skills that can be deployed once you have enough energy, with modules being more passive buffs. When things get a bit too hairy, you can dodge roll, but sadly the game doesn't feature any melee weapons. Yes, you can equip augs to act as a deterrent for melee attackers like razor drones, but it seems strange that enemies can attack you with katanyas, for example, but you can't actually use one yourself. Despite no melee, the game makes up for it in terms of ranged weapons, with each weapon having a variety of statistics such as damage per shot, firing mode, clip size, and reload time to factor in. You'll start off with a crappy pistol, but soon enough you'll have burst rifles, rocket launchers, and even a devastating minigun. And you will need to switch your loadout depending on the situation, with some really tricky locations or bosses requiring certain types of weapons to help your chances of success. You have a grenade slot that can be used for frags, health zones, stun grenades, and even your own portable mech suit. Armor plays a big part in your success, with each piece having a number of different stats such as your physical, energy, digital, or fire defense. I'd say the variety of armor does kind of make up for the lackluster character creator, but unfortunately armor can't be upgraded, meaning you'll end up wearing anything as long as it's effective. Basically, it means you'll often end up looking like an uncoordinated walking dustbin. As well as weapons and armor, you have your cyber deck. The cyber deck can be used to analyze, unlock doors, open chests, hack ATMs for credits, and even utilize turret stations. Another positive is that the game doesn't bog you down with inventory space issues. You can carry as many items as you like, and you also have unlimited ammo. In terms of the enemies themselves, at the start I was a little bit concerned that they were a little bit stupid and repetitive, but after a few hours you'll have your hands full with a varied enemy kind of attack pattern, depending on where you are, adopting unique different strategies. They'll throw explosives, charge you with melee weapons, use health stations to recover, or just put themselves behind cover to protect themselves. Whether you're facing street gangs, robot guards, or 20-foot tall mech bosses, all the combat situations were satisfying and progressively got more challenging the deeper you ventured into the campaign. A special mention has to go to the boss fights, which are some of the most entertaining and fun moments in the game, with crazy explosions and overwhelming odds to compete against. As you level up, you can spend points on attributes from increasing your health, aiming proficiency, technological skills, or energy levels. Okay, so what about the story, quests, and mission structure? The Ascent isn't a compelling game when it comes to the story or the narrative. The main story, it's standard fare for a computer game, and to be honest, most of it will go in one ear and out the other. The compelling part of the game comes in the gameplay itself via the satisfying combat. The missions are varied to a degree with assassinations, robberies, hacking jobs, but mostly you'll be going from point A to point B, kill everything en route, kill everything when you get there, steal all their stuff, then sell it in the town centre once the mission is finished. I'd say the main and side quests aren't that different, and it's hard to say what sort of quest you're on if you weren't paying attention. But regardless of what you're doing, the combat is fluid and it makes the missions enjoyable. Okay, what about the game world itself? The Ascent has a stunning futuristic world that's one of the most beautiful of its type I've ever seen. The city feels lived in, alive, chaotic, with an amazing and intricate design connecting all its regions and zones. The world features safe areas where you can shop, go to gun stores, upgrade your weapons, or even have some plastic surgery. Bounties can be found throughout the world and paid off by the bartenders. It's a huge world, and at times it can take a while to get around. But thankfully you have two forms of fast travel. The metro can be caught from a variety of stations, or if you're deep in the field you can call a taxi and cruise to your location. So yeah, it's a huge open world with maze-like interconnectivity and many NPCs just going about their business. At times, it felt like you're in a kind of a twin-stick version of the futuristic cities from a movie like Blade Runner. The game can be played co-op as well as solo. Personally, I finished it solo in about 25 hours, but co-op definitely adds replay value. But even solo, I'd say I'd happily go again. Finally, on gameplay, I have to talk about the technical performance of the game and the issues that I encountered. Firstly, there was a graphical issue that seemed almost ever present, like a slight slowdown at times when the environment got pretty busy. It wasn't frame rate, but there is something going on that can be a bit distracting, to be fair. I also experienced a couple of crashes as the game seemed unable to handle what was going on. There were a few occasions where mission critical icons didn't appear, so I had to reload the mission, restart it basically. And also in co-op, me and a friend had some problems with one of the elevators. Every time we got on it to go up, it would go down again, so we couldn't actually progress the mission, which was quite annoying. Graphically, the game uses an isometric style, but does also pan in side-scrolling and other orientations to suit the moment. It really does show off the environment and the background and made the world feel more interactive. The game world has crazy amounts of detail and really felt like a real city. Also, the ability to go from the foreground to the background adds another layer to the experience, so that the background isn't just wallpaper. One issue I did encounter were the menus being quite poorly optimized in terms of the font. In particular, the mission description screen. Even on a large 4K screen, it was very difficult to actually read what it said. Sound-wise, the music is excellent and very well suited to the Blade Runner-esque game world. The sound effects for the weapons, explosions and ambience are really exceptional. The only disappointment was the voice acting, which for the most part sounded like some sort of narration you would find in a cartoon rather than a proper narrative story. Okay, what's good and what's bad? What's good? The graphics are stunning, the twin-stick combat is fluid, satisfying and addictive, progression is simple to understand and the weapon variety is very impressive. Enemy variety keeps the game feeling fresh, the technological development of your character allows you to alter your combat strategy as you enter the latter part of the game. The game has a lot of replay value, and it's one of the most satisfying and playable games on the next gen. What's bad? The visuals have considerable technical issues. I experienced a few crashes and some co-op problems with elevators not working. The voice acting is pretty average, as is the narrative, and some of the menus could have been better designed. So what's the verdict? My experience of the Ascent was an overwhelmingly positive one, and for fans of the twin-stick genre, it's an absolute must. The core combat loop is very entertaining, satisfying and extremely addictive. I've put in about 30 hours today, and the best compliment I can give it is that I haven't got bored once. The game world is visually stunning and was a joy to explore. Find all the hidden items, carry out the side quests, or just go on a rampage lighting up your enemies. Yes, it probably could have done with a few more months additional development time just to iron out the kinks, but even factoring in the technical issues and the lackluster narrative, the Ascent is still a very good game. Add to that, the main issues with the game were really mostly performance related and very fixable. Yes, the story is not great, but it's not such an issue for a twin-stick shooter as combat is the core gameplay feature that will keep you coming back for more. So in summary, the Ascent was a game I thoroughly enjoyed. It's very entertaining, playable, addictive, and one that I still enjoyed via couch co-op once I'd completed the main game. So my score for the Ascent is 8.6 out of 10. In time, if the developers do fix the technical issues, I would say the score would be more like a 9 out of 10. But for now, 8.6 is about right. Okay, that was the review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. This is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.